Hello, I'm Carwyn Morris and I'm here today to do a review of Doctor Who Series 8, Episode 6. Episode 6 already? And doesn't time fly? Doctor Who, The Caretaker. Let's review Doctor Who. So, what can I say about Episode 6? Well, this episode was pretty much a Danny Pink, Clara Oswald centric episode. It was centered around those two characters. I have no problem with this. We didn't know enough about Danny to make the character likeable, and now that we know a bit more about him and his nature and how his character works, I'm not sure I like him, and I'm kind of with the Doctor on this that I'm not sure Clara's in the right place. Mainly, I don't know what it is. There are moments when Danny reminds me of Mickey Smith, which is a good thing, because I really like the character of Mickey Smith. I thought Mickey the Idiot was a good character, but he seems to be the reverse of Mickey. Mickey started off as sort of a cowardly, kind of shy, not so much shy, but he really didn't want to be there. And then he changed around and became the hero that we all know as Mr. and Mrs. Smith off saving the world. Danny seems to be the reverse. Danny was the hero first and is now settling down into real life, and perhaps this is what it's building to, is a symbiosis between Clara and Danny, where she too will stop being the soldier and settle down into a real life. So I'm kind of coming around to him, kind of warming up, but not a great deal. Obviously, there's a lot happening off camera that we are not seeing. There's a lot happening outside the show that we are not seeing between these two characters. The fact that they made a centric episode around them helped a lot, but it was still, I still find Danny to be, he's, aside from getting on my nerves a little bit, there is some likeable qualities coming through. But one thing I will say about Danny is that there was a scene in this episode where he stands face to face, toe to toe with the Doctor, and he holds his own. And that is a brilliant scene. That is a brilliant scene in this episode. So, what's this story about then? Well, the Doctor shows up at Coal Hill School as the caretaker, because there's obviously a nearby alien invasion, and he intends to draw the alien to the school to obliterate it from our own timeline. Decent enough, but again, the episode was mainly about Clara and Danny, and it done a lot of good there. This didn't do a lot for the Doctor, and here's the thing, okay? When we saw the episode New Earth, we instantly knew who David Tennant's Doctor was. When we saw the end of Rose, we instantly knew who Christopher Eccleston's Doctor was. We're 6 episodes in, and I still don't know this Doctor. This Doctor, he's almost an amalgamous Doctor. Maybe that's a result of forced regeneration, possibly, but this Doctor does seem to lack identity. There are moments that he pulls from John Pertwee, from Patrick Troughton. There's a couple of William Hartnell moments popping in here and there, but in all honesty, he doesn't have his own identity. There's nothing I can really say about this Doctor that I can say, oh yeah, that's something that he would say. And it's not a catchphrase, okay? It's not a catchphrase. It's something that this Doctor would do that would identify him as a likeable person, or not like a person. Stumbling over my words there. But he doesn't have this one identifying thing about him. If anything, he's a bumbling idiot. And we've already had bumbling idiot because we had Matt Smith, and that worked brilliantly well. So what is this Doctor? Grumpy? Well, he's not quite grumpy. Intolerant? Maybe, but so was John Pertwee. I'm not sure what he is. And look, they could always nail it down, okay? And all they have to do is to have him just fall down one day and have a little bit of regeneration energy kick out and say, look, you know, this is who I am because I finally figured out what it is that I have to do and who I have to be. And you can say that it was a result from such a massive regeneration, and don't forget, it was a big regeneration, so he could still be going through some sort of crisis. So yeah, this Doctor is not a singularly defined Doctor. It's very, very hard to nail this guy's character down. Which is a shame, because I really, really like Peter Capaldi. And I like the fact that Peter Capaldi is such a fanboy that he is now playing the Doctor. But for me, it's really not working out very, very well. There's a lot of times when he's berating, and if that's the sort of Doctor he's going to be, then fine, but go with that. You know, there's times when he's aloof. If that's who he's going to be, then go with that. There's times when he's an idiot. Fine, then go with that. But I find it difficult to believe that the Doctor has been around as long as he has, and still has... He's spent more time on Earth than humans, and he still has problems understanding humans. No. No, if anything, this guy is an expert on humans and human behaviour. I have to put it down to the fact that it's his regeneration playing hell with him. So, he's the least likeable thing in the episode. He's still giving it a good performance, and he's still putting in some real nice little moments here and there. And I like the fact that he does draw from different Doctors. I do like that. But what it does is it takes away a little bit from being who he is. And they probably need to focus a little bit more on round the character off. But anyway, let's move on and talk about this episode. As I said, it's a Danny Pink, Clara Oswald centric story. Maybe, because whilst we are seeing the progression of their relationship, and you know, the day is coming when the door's going to close on the TARDIS and Clara's going to be on the other side of it. And that day that's what it's building up to. It's showing the two separate lives. It's showing her going back and forth between her normal daily routine and her Doctor life. And that she's going to separate from the TARDIS. That they're going to go their separate ways eventually. And the reason why that is an important thing is that we may have a new companion in the running. And it's nice to see it from... I mean, we've got to talk about her as I forget the character's name. It's gone. And I'm not going to try to find it now and edit in. I'm not going to do that. But you know the girl I'm on about, the girl in the school. She's already travelled in the TARDIS. She's a companion. Ta-da! Job done. So, is she an official companion? Well, of course she is. She's travelled in the TARDIS. That's all you need to be, is a friend for the Doctor and travel with him. And there it is. You know? Does this mean that she's going to be a later companion further down the line? Fingers crossed, you know, because I like the fact that she's a disruptive influence. I actually like the relationship between her and the Doctor. She's a disruptive influence, he's weird. They both meet each other, shake hands, and it's, you know, these two could be good friends. This could really actually work. This could work better than any other friendship that the Doctor's had. Because they're both blunt and they're both willing to admit that they are who they are. So yeah, aside from the fact that they need to nail down Peter Capaldi's Doctor, and we might have a potential Doctor companion in the running, and we are going to see the eventual removal of Clara from the Doctor Who universe. What else can I say about this episode? Well, we had the Skovox Blitzer. Skovox Blitzer. Skovox Blitzer was another word for Dalek when they didn't want to write Dalek, because they've done Dalek. And it could have been Cyberman, but they didn't want to write Cyberman either. So they wrote Skovox Blitzer. It's essentially a Dalek or a Cyberman, depending on which way you want to look at it. That's what it is. You know, it was something that was going to destroy the planet. It was a threat. It was a mechanical alien thing. It was a Dalek without being a Dalek, and I kind of like the design. Kind of like the fact that it was a walker, not a floater, or just a plain old droid-looking thing. So, kind of like the design. It was a background plot. It was the background story. The forward story was always going to be focusing on Danny and Clara. So, was this episode any good? Well, before I get to that, did anybody else notice there's a couple of really nice moments in this episode? First of all, I really like the fact that the Doctor's invisibility watch was a pulsar. And for those people who don't know what a pulsar is, a pulsar was the world's first digital watch. So I really liked that. And the other thing I really liked was when Clara is laying onto the kids and the Doctor whistles "Brick in the Wall." I mean, that was a fantastic little moment. So I really liked that. Again, I like the interaction between Danny and the Doctor. Danny with that incredible forward diving flip. So sort of searching for the Doctor's approval without searching for the Doctor's approval. He said that he didn't care, but I've got a feeling somewhere inside he does. I got a feeling that, you know, he realises that Clara cares about the Doctor, and he even though he says, you know, I don't care what he thinks, I think he's going to. I'm hoping for this character to move further forward into Doctor Who and to not necessarily become a companion, but certainly show his charm. But so it's also going to have to deal with the fact that the character does suffer with post-traumatic stress. And this is something that they haven't acknowledged. They've said that he's got it, but they haven't acknowledged, they haven't looked at it. This is a fascinating character. This could be a fascinating character that we're not spending enough time with. And the result is that we get, as I said before, an abrasive, abrupt, almost rude, pompous, childish character here and there. So we're not really seeing the charm of this guy, and we really need to. And they need, if I was going to write Doctor Who, I would certainly focus on him for one episode and just deal with his problems. You know, just have the Doctor look into him. Just have the Doctor, you know, spend time with him, be forced to spend time with him. The other thing as well is that, I don't know how many people have noticed this, but I've got a feeling they've done Robin Hood. I've got a feeling that given that Clara's nickname is Ozzy, that there may be a Wizard of Oz version of Doctor Who. As a result, I'm surprised that they haven't done it already in the past, but yeah, I would be fairly sure that there's going to be a Wizard of Oz with the Doctor as the Wizard and Clara as Dorothy, and you know, I think that would work really well actually. But also the nice little thing that they mentioned in the episode was Artron particles. For those people who know the Doctor Who history, this mysterious energy made its first appearance in The Deadly Assassin, and given that the TARDIS keeps landing in East London all the time, it's fair to understand why there would be an Artron particle build-up. So, not a bad episode. Not a bad episode. If I'm going to rate this episode, I'll give it for Clara and Danny's interaction and the character build-up and the character storytelling, because I don't really like the lovey-dovey stuff, but for this episode it worked, and it worked in a fun, adventurous way. I'm going to give this episode an 8 out of 10. For the Doctor's involvement, maybe a 6. But it was a fun episode, and it wasn't bad. There was lots of good in this episode. It was full of win. The letdown stuff is stuff that you can deal with, but this episode will withstand repeat viewings. You can watch this episode over and over and over again, and you will pick up on lots of little things here and there. An enjoyable episode. Not a great episode, not a fantastic episode, not an appalling episode, not a bad episode. It was good, it was decent. but it was lots of fun, and that made the episode a little bit more tolerable. To me, I enjoyed it, and that's what I'm going to say. I enjoyed it. Was it great? No, but it was very, 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 very Moorish. So that's my review of Doctor Who.